Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Amarjit Singh from Department of Physics, Himachal Pradesh University. Today we are going to discuss about the module Surface Physics from paper Solid State Physics. So student, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. We are going to differentiate between surfaces, interfaces and thin films, and we will understand what is surface relaxation and reconstruction, and we will define some important aspect of surface physics like surface to volume ratio, quantum confinement effect, and their importance to surface science that we discuss, and briefly we talk adsorption to the surfaces, and also we will talk on the structure and morphology of the surfaces and their wetting properties, contact angle, and what is superhydrophobicity and what are superhydrophobic surfaces. See, surface physics is defined as the boundary of a medium where the position and the free energy differ from rest of the phase because of the broken symmetry and broken bonds. And so we will illustrate here in the next slides with the diagram the difference between surface, interface and thin films. Surface physics at present covers the entire spectrum of nanoscience. It includes phenomena in soft condensed matter physics and hard condensed matter physics. Its study include adsorption, chemical reactions, catalysis, electron transport, mechanical studies, magnetic devices, and even biological systems at nanoscale.
So here in this slide you can see that we have differentiated between surfaces, interfaces and thin films. On the left hand side you see a diagram where a medium is the surface of a medium is separating another medium which is air or vacuum, then you call it a surface usually. When you have two material mediums, as you can see medium 1 and medium 2, and the interface separating between them, the boundary separating between them is what we call an interface, and thin film is a layer of material deposited on some other material or medium which can be few atomic layer thick or slightly more. So in this slide we will talk about what is the relaxation phenomena at the surface. As we understand that surface is a truncation of a material, so there is a boundary. On this boundary you have some atoms which has been shown in different colors. On the top you can see the atom inside the material is bonded from all sides, and on top you can see that the top bond is broken there. So they have excess energy due to the unsaturation of this bond, and this unsaturation, this excess energy actually now is not favorable thermodynamically. So the system would like to relax, and in that way it can form so many different kind of structure at the surface, and one of them, the relaxed structure, is shown on the right hand side. As you can see, the atomic separation D12 between top layer and just below that is slightly less as compared to the other on the right hand side, because it is bonded on one side only and other side is free, the bond is free. So this relaxes, the structure relaxes, and the separation, the atomic separation at the surface can be different. So this when this happens, this is called a surface relaxation. On this slide you see that we are talking about reconstruction. Just like relaxation, this is another phenomena which happens due to this unsaturated bond at the surface. So the reconstruction of surfaces is a much more readily observable effect involving larger displacements of the surface atoms. It occurs with many of the less stable metal surfaces but is much more prevalent on semiconductor surfaces. Unlike relaxation, the phenomena of reconstruction involves change in the periodicity of the surface structure. The diagram below shows a surface viewed from the side, which corresponds to an unconstructed termination of the bulk structure. And you see on the right hand side the top surface is different. Here the periodicity of these atoms is twice it was initially on the left hand side. So even the periodicity of the lattice at the top surface is completely different what it was from the bulk. So this is what we call as the phenomena of reconstruction on the surfaces. Slide it. 1 minute.
So you see here the applications of this surfaces and interfaces phenomena. If we talk about, if you let us say talk about surface integrated circuits and a recording device and this fiber optic cable, they involve phenomena of surface, interface and thin films. So if you look at a transistor, a circuit board, these are very thin film devices, one can say. And when you play a DVD recorder inside a device, so there is a tip which is scanning the surface of a DVD and getting the information from there. Similarly, if you talk about a fiber optic cable, it includes several layers where the total internal reflection phenomena due to several interfaces or at least a reflection at one interface makes the light guide through the channel. So this phenomena occurs at different length scales. Here there are some examples where we have shown this phenomena at a certain macroscopic level, because here the wavelength of light used is of the order of 1 micron, but this works also at the nanoscale and some sub-nanoscale also.
Now on this slide here you can see that there are some nano devices. These are some pictures of nanoscale objects and nano devices together. You can see that a carbon nanotube, and on the right hand side there is a quantum wire which is only a few nanometer thick. So in nano material devices, this surfaces and interface phenomena is predominant, and that occurs mainly because of the two of the phenomena, which is called surface to volume ratio and quantum confinement effect. These are the two important effects which play great role in the surface science in dictating the properties of these devices, which you see in this diagram. So we shall discuss this surface to volume ratio and quantum confinement effect in the next slides. Surface to volume ratio. On these slides you can see that we have a nanoparticle on the left hand side of radius r. Few of the atoms are arranged in this fashion, as you see, and we have calculated surface to volume ratio. Have the surface area divided by the volume, and it comes out to be 3 upon r. So it says that the larger the radius, the smaller is the surface to volume effect, or in other words, we say that smaller is the radius, larger is the surface to volume effect, which has been demonstrated in this figure. As you see that the atoms which are sitting on the top, they have different color, and the atom inside the core, they have different color. It means that the surface effect on this nanoparticle is larger, and the core atoms are comparatively less. As you can see in these figures on the right hand side below, that we have here few of the dots, the pictures of dots, where you can see in the first it's a 92% surface effect, in the second one it is 76% and 63% and 52%. So it is it is decreasing. Surface to volume effect is decreasing as the size is increasing. It means that when you have smaller particles, basically the effect of the structure of the surface becomes dominant because there is almost no bulk in the system. Now in this slide we talk about a quantum confinement effect, which is very important and basic phenomena in all quantum nano devices. Now you see here this relation here for energy is there, which is inversely proportional to L square. L is the size of box. This problem we all has solved in quantum mechanics for a particle in a box. So these are the energy levels which we see that dotted lines inside the box. So these represent the energy levels. Now we can understand that the separation between energy levels is inversely proportional to the square of the size of the box. It means that if the box is very large, it is macroscopic. If we talk about macroscopically large object, then the separation between this level is so small that they form a continuous band, as you can see here, and we cannot separate between their energies. But when box length is small, and the question is how much small, when it is of the order of the wavelength of a particle, of a de Broglie wavelength of the particle, then this quantum phenomena appears and the energy levels become discrete here. So now when it was initially continuous band, here we have discrete energy levels. So at the size of an object which is of the order of wavelength, de Broglie wavelength of the particles, this quantum phenomena begins to appear. That will be clear in the next slide more. Now here this is the slide where we talk about density of the states and show the quantum confinement effect with the different degrees of confinement. Now you can see that when we say bulk system 3D, it is a large macroscopic system where wavelength of the particle is very small, then there is no confinement in this case, and you can see that the density of states with the energy, there is a continuous variation. So the density of energy is basically that how much energy levels can pack in a given energy range. So that's what we define as a density of states. Now we confine the motion of electron in one direction, and in other two direction they are freely moving, just like in this 2D sheet. As you can see, the sheet is written there. So here the motion of electron in 2 dimension is not confined, but confined in vertical direction. There is a 1 dimension confinement, and so there is a change in the density of states. Now they become the feature is discontinuous here, as you can see below that. Now we further increase the confinement, the degree of confinement. It means we confine the motion of electron in 2 directions, but we allow to let it go in one direction, and that is wire kind of thing which you can see. So in this case, which we say nanowires, this density of state looks like what it is plotted below. Now it says the density of states looks completely differently. And now finally, when you come to the quantum dot, you have confinement in all directions, x, y and z. The electron is completely confined here, and the density of states are like the density of states is highly discrete, and you can see that's just one energy level. So these are almost approaching the atomic density of states. Just like in atoms we have discrete energy levels, we can see there that in quantum dots it is almost atom-like density of states. Therefore the nanomaterials possess unique novel properties due to confinement of electrons between interfaces of the materials. Now on this slide we see a very important system nowadays, a very much popular system, graphene. You can see that the graphene is nothing but a 2-dimensional sheet of carbon atoms arranged in a honeycomb lattice, as you can see that. Now this is a completely 2-dimensional system where you do not have any extension in z direction, in perpendicular direction. Now this sheet can be folded to form a nanotube. The sheets can be placed one over the other to form some form of film, and in another arrangement this can be made in a form of buckyball, as you can see there. So these are different nano devices which show strong surface effects and quantum confinement effect, and their folding and placing one over the other, they also add to the effect of this quantum confinement effect. And each of this unit which you see here, they are all of carbon, but they have different and very interesting role in nanoscience and technology today. So that's why graphene has become one of the most important material in when we talk about nanoscience. So the third dimension is few atomic layers or less as compared to 2 dimensions of macroscopic scale. So now we see that these the motion of the electrons along the surface or along the tube, they depend on they are governed by this carbon atom and surface effects only. So on this slide I just would like to briefly touch upon the subject of adsorption at surfaces. Now you see here on this slide, you can see that below we have a surface layer, and this is some kind of molecule which is a large molecule, red colored, above the surface, and it adsorb onto the surface. So, and then it can change its structure like this. So the adsorption is basically usually of two kind. One is the physisorption. It's usually the binding on the surface of a particle is a physical forces, by physical forces, van der Waals forces. And in another form of adsorption phenomena is chemisorption, where the adsorbate interacts with the substrate in a chemical way. It means it bonds, actually it reacts with the substrate to form a chemical compound at the surface. So this phenomena of adsorption has a great importance in nanofluidics, in tribology, in catalysis, and all sorts of branch of sciences. This phenomena of adsorption is difficult to cover here. Complete itself makes a complete subject. So we just touch upon this idea of how the adsorption can take place either in a physical form or in a chemical way.
What are super hydrophobic surfaces? We have already seen that when we see the lotus leaf, and if we put a droplet of water on a lotus leaf, it rolls out and the water does not stick to the lotus leaf. So what is this effect that water does not at all touch? This natural phenomena we have observed quite a lot, but nowadays we are seeing their application in our day-to-day life. For example, we have an umbrella which is made of hydrophobic fabric. So as the raindrops are falling on the umbrella, it does not retain the water. It just water slips off the surface. And we have a building where the glass planes are made of hydrophobic glasses from outside, so water does not stick to that, and even the hydrophobic paints on the walls. So this phenomena, hydrophobic or super hydrophobicity, is also a surface phenomena related to the morphology of the surface. We shall discuss in next slides.
So as you can see in the diagram, there is a line along the surface, and then there is a vector along the surface of the liquid, and this angle theta is what we call is the contact angle at the surface, and it has been shown in 3 pictures here. And this angle theta increases from first it is less than 90 degree, then it is 90 degree, and more than 90 degree. So these 3 shapes depends on the kinds of surface we use and the kinds of liquid we use, and the equation for their mechanical equilibrium has been given in the form of Young equation. Gamma LV cos theta y is equal to gamma SV minus gamma SL. So this gamma SL is a surface tension between solid liquid interface, gamma SV is surface tension between solid vapor interface, and gamma LV is a surface tension between liquid vapor interface. Now depending on if the angle is less than 90 degree or more than 90 degree, this is called hydrophilic or hydrophobic. The surface is called hydrophilic or hydrophobic if we take the drop of water on this surface. On this slide we have elaborated this drop in form of atomic model. So as you can see again that the atoms inside this liquid droplet, they are bonded with their neighbors and their energy is satisfied. But the atoms on the top of the surface, they are bonded only on the one side and therefore they have a excess energy. So this excess energy, it means that to create a surface you need to do a work in the form of energy, and all systems would like to minimize their energy in thermodynamic equilibrium. So to minimize their energy, this drop takes the shape of a sphere which has the minimum volume. In the diagram below which has been shown, we have a block here which we cut from the middle and we create two blocks there. So basically we create two surface there which is and we need to do the work to create those surface, and the energy needed is 2 gamma A as shown here. So basically when we break a larger droplet into a smaller droplet, we need to create a surface and need to do the work. So we require this is a situation where of the higher energy when more surface is created. So now on this slide you see here the role of nano patterning of a surface in its wetting property. Nano patterned surfaces are hydrophobic as large energy is required to wet the entire rough surface. If you see this diagram below where water droplet is placed, if water has to wet the entire surface between these comb-like structures, then you can see that it will cover a very large interfacial area and a large amount of energy is required. So therefore, for the minimization of energy, the balls maintain its round shape, and this almost appears to be hydrophobic. So you can see that one of the features, as we were talking of the lotus leaf, when you put a drop of water there, it does not hold the water, and the drops are just can be seen forming easily. So the reason is that this the structure of leaf is shown below. The same image of this structure is shown below, that you have a kind of nano patterned surface on these leaves, and they require a extremely high energy if water has to wet the surface completely. So this is one of the reason that it is hydrophobic, but this is not the only one reason. It is the nature of the molecule also at the surface which determines whether it is hydrophilic and hydrophobic.